Hey, it's Denis O'Brien from Best Band in America, and unfortunately or fortunately, whatever, I'm going to weigh in on the Fender controversy. And a lot of my fans and followers may not be well versed in this. They're just music fans. They know about Fender and stuff from seeing it, but they don't really understand what's going on. This, my friends, is what's called a Stratocaster guitar. So it's the shape, specifically the headstock up here. But this is the iconic Fender Stratocaster guitar invented by Leo Fender back in the 50s, and it's a staple of our life. All of us grew up watching people play Fender guitars and basses and so on. So what's happened is a German court has awarded Fender trademark rights to the shape in Germany and under European law. So they immediately took that ruling, and they've run out sending cease and desist letters to people telling manufacturers they have to stop making it, they have to destroy their stock, and so on and so forth. It's really complicated legally. I'm not a lawyer. There's some really great podcasts and opinions from lawyers out there. Rick Beato did a piece. He's really pissed at the CEO, Bud, the new CEO, who's, screwing this whole thing up, in my opinion, too. I think, regardless of whether you're legally have the right to control the shape, which they don't in America, what are you doing? What are you doing? So the reality check here, and I'm not a lawyer, so if you're making Stratocaster style guitars somewhere in America, don't listen to me, call your lawyer. But it appears it has no teeth in America. They already solved this. They had a case in 2009 or something. The Trademark Copyright Office has already ruled that the shape has been genericized. It's generic shape, and it's okay to use the shape. So you can't call it a Stratocaster. That's their name. But you can make a Stratocaster style guitar. And frankly, a lot of the guitars that we watch and the people that we see, we don't even know if they're really Stratocasters. I mean, PRS guitars look like Stratocasters, but they say PRS on them. But I mean, there's a lot of Stratocasters that have been heavily modified. Even Beato had his Strat, and he said, I bought the Strat, but I didn't like the neck, so I took the neck off. It looks like a Fender neck, but it's not. This one is actually a licensed Chinese Strat. I don't know if you can see that. So this Strat was built by Fender in China. So it's a Tricaster is what they call it, as opposed to a Mexicaster. And it's different than this case. This was somebody making unauthorized Stratocaster copies, happened to be Chinese, and they didn't show up in court. So the thing is, and again, I'm not a lawyer, it was a default judgment. So we had no arguments. We had no legal case like the Flying V case with Gibson, which they won, where people could come and discuss and analyze over time and have litigation. So the default judgment, it looks to me like what will really happen is a group of people will contest it, like Sandberg and some of these big guys, Warwick, these big manufacturers, or a bunch of luthiers will combine and make a class, and they will fight this in Europe. And once it gets litigated, they could win, and the whole mess could get overturned. But in the meantime, Fender has the exclusive right to the shape of their Stratocaster guitar, and they're sending cease and desist letters to all these people, and it's ridiculous. And regardless of the legal mess, it's a PR nightmare. So they basically lit their company on fire. It's like Bud Light on steroids. It's an amazing, and again, our business isn't as widespread as beer, so a lot of the general public doesn't really know what I'm talking about, but the Stratocaster guitar, it's part of our lives. And I think what you really have to think about going forward, if you're Fender, is you have to think about, where do you fit in history? Where, historically speaking, are you, and why are you, again, I'm not trying to unwind the legal part of it. I'm trying to tell them what I think they should do to solve the problem. And frankly, to solve the problem, this is a piece of our history. Look, You got Brad Gillis from Night Ranger. You got Eddie Van Halen playing a Partscaster. You've got David Gilmour. You've got, Beck played a Strat sometimes. Even Bonamosa has some Strats. All these guys have played Jimi Hendrix. Come on. All these folks have played Strats over the years, and it's important. And I think you have to think about the legacy of the company, because really what they need to lean into, because they don't have any real teeth, is they should turn it around and they should dig into their legacy, and they should bless themselves 100 times over that every film, every video, every something has somebody. If they're not playing a Fender guitar, the guy that plays bass plays the Fender Precision. So it's amazing. And then there's this whole group of people with the Telecasters. That's another podcast. But the thing is, you got to start dominating the social market. So I think what they should do, it's the Denis O'Brien solution to Bud from Fender, is you should call me, 802-829-5069. I'll pick up. You should sponsor Best Band in America, because we're doing this anyways. We're going out to all these bands all across the country, and we're serving up this show about the unsung heroes of American music. When we're doing that, you guys are already in the show. Fender is everywhere. It's ubiquitous. Or Fender style is ubiquitous. So why wouldn't you lean into it? Why wouldn't you sponsor a show like ours and other shows? You should go wide on this and sponsor all kinds of emerging media, because what will happen is you could investigate your own brand, you could improve your own brand, and also get your name out to another generation of musicians and filmmakers and media lovers. Look, Fender is everywhere. All of us grew up with anybody that was born in the last 70 years has grown up with Fender, and we know Fender, and for the most part, we like Fender. Now you have this thing going on. People are selling off their Fender stuff. I saw a guy selling off his Strat. I don't want any more Fender stuff. Blah, 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 blah. You have to think about your place in history, in my opinion. So I think, if you look at Best Band America and our show 1, we were shooting New Wild Horses, guitarist, Stratocaster. We went to Boston for show number 2, Staff Johnson. One guy played a Les Paul. The other guy played a left-handed Stratocaster, or a Stratocaster style guitar. I don't even know. Number 3, McCaffrey out in Toledo, played in the J.T. Hayden band. He had a Strat or 2. Then we went down Carrie Zasband. Carrie herself plays multiple guitars, but her lead, Larry, plays a Stratocaster, a special Stratocaster with some synthesizer built into it. A really cool axe. I liked it. Episode 5, Blue Velvet. Of course, Guy Valek has a lot of guitars, but he loves his Stratocasters. Show number 6, the Irregulars. They had multiple guitarists, and one guy played Strat exclusively. Episode 7, we saw very little Strat, if any. I don't think we saw any. Jason plays a Worth guitar, custom axe, Jason Cale band. Too Hot for Leather, we saw Les Paul, Gibson Les Paul through the whole show. That's his preferred axe on that one. The bottom line is this, but the bass player had a Fender Precision. So the bottom line is this, lean into it. You've got an incredible opportunity to talk about brand, to talk about the legacy, to talk about the music, talk about Leo Fender. It's music. You can wax poetic all day long, and you can recoup a lot of your reputation. And in the meantime, you could probably make a better product, because John Mayer didn't dump Fender because they stunk. Well, they probably part of it, but he dumped them because they wouldn't work with him to make his new guitar. So he went to PRS for that. And quality control, all those things. So has Fender drifted into, some call it not even a guitar company and so on? Sure. Companies get bought and sold, but we've seen rebounds. Look at how beautiful Gibson's doing now after a lot of tough years. So I think everybody should take a breath, and the people at Gibson shouldn't fire their lawyers. They should fire the marketing team, and they should lean into the future. lean into new media and lean into the people in Toledo and Akron and Savannah and Albuquerque and all the places we're going, Norfolk, Virginia, and way up in Juneau, Alaska, and Burlington, Vermont. These are places where people are buying your frigging guitars. And if you really want to sell some frigging guitars, then you got to really lean into the fact that you're Fender. You're not some douchebag company. You've been around for a long time, but you're really acting like an ass. And it's not helping anything. And I think if you don't do this, it's just going to be, yeah, you'll stay in business, but it's going to be a slow, winding death. And I think a lot of people are looking at you guys in an anti-corporate fashion, especially the younger folks. And you know what? You better grow some new customers because your old ones are all going to die. None of us are getting out of here alive. Remember that. So these new customers that are coming up that look to you, you're blowing right by them, and they're going to go elsewhere, and they're going to buy other products because there's a lot of competition in the world, and it's not going to get any easier for Fender to save themselves. So call me. Once again, I'm Dennis at bestbandamerica.com. This is Best Band America. Of course, searching for the unsung heroes of American music. We go to places like Toledo and Norfolk and Savannah. In Austin, Texas, we meet the band, we find out who they are, and then we listen to them play their own music. And guess what? There's people writing brand new music for you and me and everybody else in all styles, and no one can hear them. Why? There's no radio. There's no A&R. There's no oomph. There's no way to play except for the internet, which is great, but the internet's loaded with stuff. So what are you going to do? Well, you have to tour, and all these bands, Too Hot for Leather's touring, J.T. Hayden's touring, people are out there, they're playing gigs, they're getting around, they want to get stuff going on, but it's a struggle, and you've got to support live music in your area. You've got to support the people that support the live music, and you got to remember that companies like Fender and Gibson and all the others, they don't play the music, the musicians do. And you need to support those human beings, because I'll tell you, there's nothing like getting to a location with a kicking live band. People start dancing, food. I got chills. It's summertime. It's time to play. And remember, on the Fender controversy, Fender, if you're in America, has nothing. They're wasting everyone's time. And if you don't understand it and you want to learn more about the legal stuff, there's some great podcasts from some great music lawyers that will explain the legal schmeagle stuff. And there's turnaround experts giving them an idea for marketing and falling on their sword and that stuff. I think it's a lot easier. I think you just lean into new media, support some films, support a bunch of shows like mine, Best Band America, and help get people understanding how important this Leo Fender thing was, what he did by electrifying these bodies of wood, what happened to music, what the pliability, portability, and functionality of music and bands and combos and the growth of music through my lifetime is so friggin' important. And that's what you need to lean into. You gotta stop with the lawsuits. You're not gonna win anything in the long run. And frankly, I don't see how this is gonna help sales, because if I'm looking for a guitar right now, I hear that noise. That's all noise, and you're making your own noise for no reason. If you're a mixing guy, signal to noise ratio means everything. Well, you got too much noise. You need more signal, and you've lost your signal, and you still own it. You're still Fender, and you can still save it, but you need to lean into the people that care about you, the people that are playing the music, the software, the actual people that are out here in America. I am Denis O'Brien. This is Best Band America. See you out there.